I want you to stop the video and watch Berger's example 1 video before you watch this, and then come back to this video. Take a minute, pause the video if you have to, and just review y equals mx plus b. When they give you the slope and 2 points, you have to plug in the x and y value and the slope, solve for b, and then write your equation, y equals mx plus b. They're giving you 2 examples that you can use to do that. Take a minute and make sure that you can get the same equation that they are getting. How did it go? If you put 200 equals 3 times 50 plus b, multiply the 3 times the 50, get 150, subtract that from both sides, you should get 50 equals b. Notice that they put the 50 in place of the b, the 3 in place of the slope, which is m, and they get the equation y equals 3x plus 50. Today's lesson, writing and graphing piecewise functions, functions that are in pieces, and then using piecewise functions to describe actual real-world situations. Make sure you are using your notes page and filling it out as we go. Take a minute and put the definition of a piecewise function on the top of your notes page. You should have watched Dr. Berger's video first, and I want to make sure to point this out. When you are using interval notation, which would look like coordinates, you have to use square brackets when you're writing the included endpoint, or something that is equal to x, greater than or less than or equal to. You use the bracket part to indicate that that value is included in that range. Use a parenthesis to show that that value is not included. So be careful as you write your answers, that you write it correctly, because whatever you learn to do now is what you'll do on your test, and I'll be looking for the correct notation on your test and on your quizzes. Let's look at this example of a piecewise function. You should be able to read the graph. Notice it's mixed nuts per pound, price per pound. If you purchase 2 pounds or less than 2 pounds of nuts, you will pay $8 per pound. If you purchase between 2 and 5, or just under 5 pounds, you'll pay $6 per pound. If you buy 5 pounds or more, you're going to pay $5 per pound. That's what this piecewise function is showing you. If you buy 2 pounds, you will pay $6, not $8. Now look at the way it's written as notation. Alright, here is that same information from the graph written out in function notation. There are 3 different prices, which means there are 3 sections or intervals. The first one says if the weight is between 0 and under 2, or 1.99, you're going to pay $8 per pound. Notice the notation has a bracket at the 0 and a parenthesis at the 2, meaning the 2 is not included in the price of $8, or it's not included in that interval. Then you're going to pay $6 if you get between 2 and just under 5. The 2 is included in the price of $6, the 5 is not. 5 through infinity is $5 per pound. If you need or are asked to write that same information in a verbal description, this is the way it would read. Mixed nuts cost $8 per pound for less than 2 pounds. $6 per pound for 2 or more and less than 5, or between 2 and 5, and $5 per pound for 5 or more pounds of nuts. On the notes page that I gave you, there's a place to do the Check It Out Example 1. Now is your opportunity. You need to make sure that you do this on your own, and then we'll walk through it together. Look at your book, pause the video. This is the same information on your screen. Take a minute and try to do the whole problem on your own, and then we'll walk through it together. Make sure you go ahead and pause right now. Looking at the graph that they give you, you should first write out the intervals that are demonstrated on the graph. Notice and make sure you're using appropriate interval notation. $28 gets you from 8 to noon. Notice on the table that it shows the time along the bottom and the cost along the side. If you play from noon to 4, then you're going to pay $24 an hour. If you play from 4 to 9, then you're going to pay $12. The only thing they've asked you to do for this Check It Out is to do a table and a verbal description. The table you did, hopefully on your own, just fine. You may have had to make a couple little changes. And now is your verbal description. The green fee is $28 from 8 to noon, $24 from noon to 4, and $12 from 4 to 9. All that little beeping that you've been hearing is Megan trying to chat with me online while I'm trying to do this little video for you. It's okay. I don't mind. As you can see, it's time to move on, but you need to watch Berger's video first.